welcome to the Office of Residence Life. Thanks for joining us to find out more about the resident assistant position. We look forward to being able to go through a variety of pieces of information for you today to help you to be at your best in applying to be a resident assistant. First and foremost, it's important to remember that the deadline to apply is January 17th at 11 o'clock p.m. So feel free to mark your calendars and be sure that you utilize a variety of information that we'll provide in this information session today to help you to be able to put your best foot forward in your application. So first we're going to go through some information about the position expectations as well as the qualifications that you need to be a resident assistant. We're going to talk about the application itself, the different pieces that are all a part of it and what you can expect from that. We will also go over how to apply via Handshake. Handshake is the website that Marquette Career Services utilizes to be able to host a variety of employment opportunities for our students. We'll talk about the ideal candidate. We'll go over some important dates and details for you to know. Of course, show me the money. We'll talk about compensation and what that looks like. And then finally, I'll share where to be able to take your questions should you have anything that needs to be answered in regards to applying for the RA position. So first, in terms of position expectations and qualifications. So the best way to be able to help you to know more about what the RA position entails are really two things. So first is to look over the position description itself. While it may seem long and detailed, it really is the roadmap for what the RA position involves. You can access that on our website by going to marquette.edu/ORL. That stands for the Office of Residence Life. The second way that you can learn more is certainly talking with the current RA. If I were to summarize for you what the core components of being an RA means and involves, I would really summarize it to these three umbrella areas. First is community. So the ability to connect with one another, to be able to help peers, to be able to maximize the experience they're having in the residence halls, and to be able to really facilitate thoughtful interactions among people is really the first and foremost aspect of being an RA, and really what the rest of what being an RA sort of flows from. Second is safety. So oftentimes we think about the policy and procedural aspects, and sometimes that can become or feel a little bit daunting as an applicant, but truly all the different policies that we have and offer are really within the context of helping to keep people safe and secure as part of living with and among one another, as going back to that first core component of community. And finally, administration. You may be surprised to know the variety of things that are happening in the background that an RA is responsible for. So from filling out reports to following up on information that's received, we do expect that employees are able to follow through on these different aspects so that way we can ensure that you're having the best experience possible and really able to focus on probably the reason why you're most interested in this job, which is community. So next, there are a variety of meetings that are expected as part of this position. The RA position, you can expect to spend about 20 hours a week in it. So what that all involves is certainly those first three umbrella areas that I spoke about, but also you can expect that you will have one-on-one meetings with your residents throughout the semester, and likely if you are a current resident, you've experienced one of those one-on-one meetings. At least we hope so. Second is to meet with your supervisor, which is a residence hall director or assistant hall director. And those individuals are there to be able to help support you, provide you with resources, and coach you to be able to be at your best in this position. Third is meeting with your staff team. And so you will have a staff of other resident assistants who are there to support one another, help meet the goals and objectives of the Office of Residence Life, and to be able to continue to experience training. So plan for 2 hours of each week to be able to be spent in a Wednesday evening staff meeting. We ask all RA applicants to be able to keep their Wednesday evenings as clear as possible. So please avoid taking any classes that end after 8 o'clock p.m. And then finally, you may be requested to be part of meetings and events with the General Office of Residence Life, which could include ongoing training. It could include being a part of planning other large events. Those are all aspects of the RA position as well. So next, two important dates to keep in mind. So one, if you are hired, you're going to want to set aside April 1st, not a joke, to be able to be part of our spring training day. And so that will be pretty much a full day training, so plan to block off really from 9 a.m. until about 4 o'clock p.m., 5 o'clock p.m. To be able to really get yourself off to the right start with the Office of Residence Life. Second is August training. Plan to return to campus by Saturday, August 12th, so that way you will be ready to go for your first day of training on August 13th. So, speaking of that training, plan to block off August 13th through August 27th as time that you will need to be on campus for training to the resident assistant position, welcoming and meeting new students as part of early drop off and move in, and then our very first floor meetings. It is really critical that you are here and present on campus during that point in time. Qualifications. First is that by the time that you are employed, so come August 12th, you will need to have had 2 semesters of live-on experience in a residence hall environment. That could be here at Marquette, or if you're a transfer student, perhaps it was an experience you had at another institution. We expect that you have a 2.5 GPA at the time of application as well as the time of hire. So come January 17th, both your semester and cumulative GPAs need to be a 2.5, and at the end of May, before you start your position in August, grades will be checked again and it needs to be at 2.5 semester and cumulative. You need to have good standing with Marquette University. So what that means is that you are not currently on probation or have had a significant conduct history. We will run your conduct history and we will take into account certainly mistakes that may be made early on in your college career, and you'll have an opportunity to meet with me one-on-one to talk about any other types of aspects of a conduct history where some additional context might be helpful for us to fully understand what happened, what you've learned from that point in time, and your eligibility to continue to be an RA. So for qualifications, you need to be eligible for student employment, so meaning that you are able to work on campus. You need to have a complete application, so all the components that we go over need to be completed to continue to be considered and part of the RA selection pool. And then finally, you need to be available in that first year of hire for the full year. And so we ask that if you are currently considering to co-op or student teach for a semester, that perhaps you look at waiting to apply to be an RA until you can experience a full academic year as a resident assistant. So the application itself. So what you need to plan to have includes a letter of recommendation. You only need one, and we recommend that that comes from a current or recent RA. If your recommender is currently a student on campus, they can actually access a recommendation form that we've created for them through Marquette University Involvement Link, otherwise known as MUIL. We have that link available on our website. If you opt to have a person write a letter of recommendation for you who is not a current RA, first we recommend it's someone who can speak to how you interact with peers or how you are able to be a leader among others who are of a similar age to you. So for example, if you've been a previous camp counselor, perhaps you've done youth ministry work, there may be a variety of employment experiences that you've had. That's what we're really hoping that your person who writes a letter of recommendation is able to speak to. We have a PDF available on our website to share with that recommender that they can return to our office. Do keep in mind the letter of recommendation is separate from the handshake application itself. If we have not received your letter of recommendation, we will reach out to you. What we ask is that due to the high volume of applications and letters that we receive, that you do 2 things. One, do not submit more than 1 letter of recommendation. One is all you need, and supplying more than one will not place your application at an advantage. Number 2 is that we ask that you do not follow up with us to ask if we have received it. We will let you know if we have not received it. So err on that side that if you have not heard from us, all is good and we have received your letter of recommendation. Next portion of your application is the essay. There are new questions this year, so as you may be working with a current RA, do know that they may not be able to lend as much assistance or help in this area. We provide the questions for the essay on our website as well as on the application and handshake, as well as a template for you to use to be able to submit your essay. You want to submit this with your application in handshake. And one of our biggest pieces of advice is to read that essay, reread it, proofread it, and reread it out loud again to make sure that it sounds the way that you want it to sound and that you've caught any potential grammatical errors, so that way you're really putting your best foot forward. Next is your resume. So first, we have an amazing Office of Career Services who is here to help you. If you would like them to review your resume, we recommend you reach out to them in the month of December to be able to do so. January 16th, the day before applications are due, is not a good point in time to be able to ask for that resume review service. So be thoughtful about that if that's something you would like to take advantage of. We really hope that your resume will speak to transferable experiences that really communicate well to what we look for in an RA. So anything that has to do with, say, customer service, leading or guiding others, student organizations that you've been involved with, all of those would be really helpful in regards to this. And finally, use your resources. So likely you know someone who has been an RA, or has some knowledge about what it's like to work on a college campus, feel free to have them give a look over your resume to be sure that you're communicating some of your past experiences to this future opportunity that you want to be a part of. So next, the handshake application itself. So there are really two parts. First is the individual interview, and that's a main application that you will be utilizing. Second is the group process interview. I'll talk more about that later. Let's focus on signing up for the individual interview first. So what you will do is submit your resume and your essay as part of the individual interview. Once you do that, it will pop up with an ability to select a 30-minute interview right away. The location of that interview is in Marquette Career Services, located in Holt-Husen Hall. There will be 2 dates available for you to select from, but you only need one 30-minute interview. So I'd like to now provide you with the ability to watch a video about how to submit an application. If you'd like to review this again, certainly you're welcome to rewind this video you're watching now, or we do have this video available separately on our website should you like to use it to be able to walk through that. What's really important to know is that we recommend that you load your documents for the position first before you even go to apply. Then you'll go to search for the position and apply for it, and then you'll be able to select an interview time. This video will really help to be able to clarify what that looks like and what you can expect when you apply for a position via handshake. Hi, I'm Renee Piquette-Dowdy, Assistant Director for Staffing and Training in the Office of Residence Life, and this video is here to guide you through how to actually apply for the RA position. The first thing I'm going to do is to log in to my student account. So when I click Login, it brings me to the main page where I'm able to see a variety of options. We're going to focus on how to load your documents and actually apply for the RA position. So the first thing that you want to do is go to View Your Profile. You'll see here that you're welcome to view, have a photo loaded of yourself, include some other information, but we're really going to focus on the documents that you can load here. So scroll down and you'll be able to click where it says Manage Documents. Here you'll see I've already loaded a variety of resumes, other documents. If you're applying for other positions, you can have a number of documents available for you, so be sure to title them so that way you know for sure the document that you select is the one that you want for the RA position. I'm going to guide you through how to load a new document. You have two options. One is the New Document button here in the right corner. The other is down at the bottom. I'm going to use this one to click Add New Document. I highly recommend to include your name as part of the document. So we'll utilize this where I go Renee Dowdy resume. We'll specifically make it RA resume. Resume is selected, and then I can choose a file. Here I'll choose resume, open, and go ahead and create that document. You'll see it says it's been successfully added. You can view documents to double check and see that sure enough, I now have 3 resumes loaded instead of just 1 before. So next, let's actually go ahead and apply for the position. The search function is really helpful in this, where I can just write in resident assistant, and it's going to show me here the very first one is what you want. Ignore the group process one for now. We'll talk about that later. I'll click resident assistant. Here I see the job, and I can click Apply Now. I can choose from the existing documents that I already have. I believe this is the easiest way to be able to apply for jobs versus using the Upload Document function. And so here I'll be able to select my Renee Dowdy RA resume, as well as my RA essay. So both of those are loaded. I can see them there. And then I'm able to go ahead and click Apply here in the corner. It shows me that it has been submitted, and next it'll move on to the interview slot. Here you will see that for January 26th, which is a Thursday, as well as Friday, January 27th, there are a number of interview slots that you can select from right away to be able to find one that fits your schedule. I'll go ahead and take this morning slot on Friday. You can take that slot. I am able to leave the slot, switch to a different slot. As long as it is before the deadline of the application, I can continue to change my interview time. Now, if you want to be able to go through and make sure that you're able to see everything you've applied for, go back over here to View Your Applications. When you click on that, you'll be able to see the confirmation that I have my interview set up on Friday, January 27th at 9 a.m. in the Career Services Center. It also confirms that these are the documents that have been loaded as part of submitting my application. So I hope that your ability to submit the application goes as easily and smoothly as this video is able to demonstrate. If you have questions about the Handshake program itself, we recommend that you contact Marquette Career Services to help you with any of the practices of actually utilizing Handshake. If you have any questions at all about the position itself or about what to expect as part of the interviews, we encourage you to contact your residence hall director, current resident assistant, or to contact me as the main point of contact for the RA interview process. So good luck, and we look forward to receiving your interview application materials shortly. So next, in terms of group process, you will see in Handshake that there is a position listed for the resident assistant position group process. Ignore that for now. What will happen is after you have submitted your materials for the individual interview, we will add you to have access to the group process interview. You will receive notification via the Handshake website that you can then sign up for a 90-minute group process time. So what you can expect from that is, again, 90 minutes held on a Friday of February 3rd and located in Straz Tower Residence Hall. We want to be really clear about that so that way you don't end up over at Straz Business instead of the Residence Hall version of where you should be. We'll be sending out a few reminders in regards to that because we really want you to be able to be at your best that day and not worry if you are in the right location for the interview. So next, the ideal candidate. This is the number one question that I receive in my position in regards to what we are looking for and what that's about. What I will tell you on the front end is that unfortunately, there isn't a black and white list of you must have had these experiences or be this type of person, largely because the beauty of the RA position is that we aren't looking for cookie cutters. There is not one type of person that we look to be able to hold this position, but rather there are certain qualities that we look for that allow someone to be at their best and to be the most successful as they can be in this role. So first is confidence. We look for people who have a firm foundation in their own values and are able to feel comfortable with being able to do something such as knock on a resident's door who they haven't seen in a long time. And that's something that we believe whether you are more introverted or extroverted, everyone has an ability to be able to connect in that way if you are a person who really feels confident in who they are and what they're able to offer in this role. Next is a willingness to learn. It sounds really simple, but it is one of the greatest qualities that any employer is looking for currently, is that we want individuals who are eager to know more, who don't believe that they already hold all the answers, and they want to be able to learn from us and to learn from this position and role. Next is the ability to connect with peers. That also sounds pretty intuitive because this is a very human-focused position and one that really relies heavily on your ability to create and cultivate relationships. And so we really seek individuals who have a demonstrated record of an ability to be able to, say, navigate conflict with a peer or an ability to be able to lead others in being able to participate in something. So those are some of what we look for. We also look for a variety of personalities. So once again, not every RA can be sometimes a stereotypical cheerleader and the person who brings a really high level of energy. We need people who are very thoughtful and who are able to really be themselves in this position because just like there are a variety of applicants to this role, we have a wide variety of residents. So we truly look for a variety of candidates to be able to serve the needs of the students who live in our residence halls. So next, important dates. So I'll give you a moment to get out your calendar or your phone to be able to get these dates written down so that way you can prepare. Don't worry, I'll be here waiting for a little bit, or you're welcome to pause the video if you just need a moment to be able to get something to write. All right, moving forward. So important dates. First, your application is due on January 17th at 11 p.m. That is when we return from winter break. So you're going to want to be really mindful in terms of that. Next is your individual interview will take place on either January 26th or Friday, January 27th. Up to you which one you want to decide. We will have a variety of interview times available for you between the hours of 9 o'clock a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m. Next is group process. That takes place on Friday, February 3rd, and again, that's 90 minutes. We will begin the group process day at 10 a.m. and we will go well into the evening closer to 7:30 p.m. or 8 o'clock p.m. And finally, you'll become notified of hire on or before Monday, February 27th. We do this well in advance of sophomore housing selection, so that way you can rest easy with that. However, if you are a rising sophomore or rising junior who is currently applying, we don't want you to sweat where you are planning to live next year. One, we want to assure you that in February and March of every year, there are still a variety of housing options that are available in the near campus neighborhood. we encourage you to reach out to our university apartments office if you have questions about how to navigate finding quality area landlords or how to navigate this process. Second, if you are a rising sophomore or junior and you live in university-owned apartments, you do have an ability to break your lease at no penalty and to receive your deposit back if you are hired to the resident assistant position. Other dates to remember is that by March 6th, if you are made an offer, you need to accept the position. And so we ask that kind of swift turnaround because there are a variety of people who would love this opportunity. And unfortunately, we need to move along to someone else if you are unable to be able to take this opportunity. Spring training date, we mentioned that before. No joke, Saturday, April 1st, so be sure to note that. And then spring storage. This may sound like a minor detail, but if you're wishing to take advantage of storing of any items that you would like to have in your future residence hall where you will be employed, you would need to navigate finding a time with your hall director on or before May 13th to be able to store those items in a residence hall over the summer so they are there and ready for you when you return for the RA position. Next summer dates. One is just to note that we may require you to engage in some online training just to help make sure that our in-person training is really spent on the most important aspects of this job. Second is that, again, August training, you will need to return to campus by Saturday, August 12th. And then finally, just to note that first year and sophomore move-in will take place between August 23rd and August 27th. Those dates are really critical that you are here and present and a part of that. In between August 12th and August 23rd, you will be involved with training here on campus, so please plan accordingly with friends and family. So next, other important commitments that are a part of the RA position is that in the fall semester, you'll be required to take a 1-credit RA class. You'll be able to sign up for that class after you accept the position for one of a variety of times that we make available that fit your academic schedule. Next, again, make sure to be able to keep your Wednesday nights as clear as possible, in particular after 8 o'clock p.m., so you can participate in staff meetings. And then finally, there are a variety of in-service trainings that are offered. In the position description, we list those dates for your reference, so that way you can go ahead and note those and plan for them well in advance. Finally, show me the money. So, compensation for the RA position. There are a few important things that we want to be sure to note with you in regards to that. So, in terms of compensation, you can expect to receive a room to yourself in the residence hall that you are hired to. You will receive the meal plan, which is the all-access anytime dining plan. And then finally, there is a stipend. So the stipend amounts to a little over $1,000 paid out bi-weekly over the course of 10 months in the RA position. It is really critical to note that in terms of compensation, there could be an impact for a very few number of students on your financial aid package. Unfortunately, I'm not an expert in terms of each person's individual financial aid packages. And so we encourage you to reach out to Marquette Central to be able to speak with a financial aid counselor about what the impact of the RA position could hold, if any, on your financial aid package. So finally, we want to end with any questions that you may have. If you have any questions, we encourage you to reach out to a few key individuals. One is a current resident assistant. They can certainly help to answer any questions about the position itself. Second is a residence hall director. They are the primary hiring managers and the individuals who are seeking out candidates, and so they may be able to help answer some questions for you. And then finally is to visit our website, marquette.edu/ORL, where we will feature a variety of frequently asked questions that will be posted close to winter break, so that way you can view that information and you can plan accordingly. Thank you for taking the time to be part of our information session. We hope that this was helpful in preparing you to be at your best in applying for the RA position. We look forward to seeing your application by January 17th and getting to meet you throughout our process. Thank you, good luck with finals, and enjoy a wonderful winter break.